So Dana White has been in the headlines making news for all the wrong reasons. And considering what he recently did, apparently he's still not going to get punished by the UFC. Yep, even after Dana violently abused his wife on New Year's Eve, he's still going to roam free. A while ago, a TMZ video revealed the UFC president having a violent altercation with his wife. The pair were spotted in a Mexico nightclub, hopefully there to party for the night and celebrate the dawn of a new year together. What happened, though, was horrifying. Before I proceed, I gotta warn you guys, what follows might be quite triggering for many of you, as it mentions abuse. Proceed with caution. In the video, you can see Dana dancing with his wife Ann, but they're not having any fun. At one point, White violently grabs her wrist. She's having none of it and slaps White in the face, and Dana responds with several of his own. Not one, not two, but multiple. Soon enough, onlookers jump into the fight, and this is where the video ends. If you're hearing this for the first time, you might want to pause the video and take a breather, because that's a lot to process for anyone, and I can't even begin to imagine what it must have been like for Ann. Dana rushed to clear his name as soon as the video got out. He had an interview with TMZ where he apologized for his actions.
Yeah, I wasn't really campaigning. He called me and asked me if I wanted to go to Colorado. He said, want to go to Colorado? I said, yeah. So we flew over to Colorado for the day and then back to Vegas. We were just hanging out and talking fights. I wasn't even supposed to speak that day. I was just, just like cruising over there with him, yeah. You know, horrible. I'm embarrassed, but it's also one of those situations that is, you know, right now, we're more concerned about our kids. You know, we have 3 kids, and, you know, obviously, since the video popped up.
Was he actually apologetic? I don't think so. And even if he was, would it really make any difference? Not really. After such an incident, the only reasonable action would be for White to be stripped of his position as UFC president. Unfortunately, the UFC and its parent company, Endeavor, haven't made any comments so far. And according to Dana, he won't face any repercussions of this kind. By this kind, I mean dismissal. Dana had to appear at the UFC Vegas 67 Media Day later.
The video and seeing my interview, it was obviously a horrible personal experience, and you know.
And just like everyone had expected, reporters bombarded him with questions about that night. And Dana may have apologized once before, but that day, he didn't seem one bit remorseful.
I don't know. No, I mean, I doubt he'd just hang out for 2 years and continue to negotiate, and, you know, I don't know. I don't think he thought the Jon Jones fight would really happen. That's what I think. I think he didn't think that would really come to fruition, but it did.
Speaking of the kind of repercussions he should face, White said that taking 30 days off wouldn't hurt him. He basically meant that the company suspending him, as it usually does in such cases, would have zero impact on his career in the long run. He recalled the COVID-19 pandemic, saying he could have sat out 10 years if the pandemic lasted that long and it wouldn't really affect him. You see, Dana is of the opinion that the company won't fire him because it can't afford to lose him. He said, "Me leaving hurts the company, hurts my employees, hurts the fighters." He thinks that the only person it doesn't hurt is himself. Honestly, I wouldn't be too sure about this. Right now, it looks like White is just using these big words to mask his ego. He dared to say that there was no need to reflect on his actions anymore. He's owned his mistake, and that's all he needs to do. The nerve! Surely he realizes that he'll have to face something, right? But for him, his punishment will damage his reputation. Right. I mean, this is Dana White that we're talking about here. He doesn't have much of a good reputation to begin with. Anyway, White went on and on, saying that there have been many discussions about this thing with Ari Emanuel and ESPN. Naturally, everyone's disappointed. He says that he isn't happy with it either. He said that his punishment has already started. It's that he's labeled as this abuser for the rest of his life, which to him is a reality he won't accept. Not to mention, there's another repercussion he'll have to face. Although, between you and me, this one sounds even more absurd than the last. White said that his other punishment would be that many people who had respect for him before this had probably lost all of that now. And rightfully so, in my opinion. In this list of people, he included the media, fighters, and his friends and acquaintances. I'm not sure where Dana's mind is, but it seems to be stuck on planet delusion. Man, your fighters mostly despise you already. They have for a long time now. So many people left the UFC because of you, and the media isn't your #1 fan either, and you're still so oblivious. No one's losing any respect here. There was never any in the first place. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration. Of course, he's also been on the good side of many fighters.
What's up, gang?
What up, brother? How you doing, man? I ain't think I was
Awesome.
gonna see you till next week.
How you been?
Good, man. Been doing well. Been doing well, man.
Awesome, brother.
What's up, boss, man?
And being the boss of the UFC, no one can really speak up against him, even if they want to. Shockingly, many in the MMA community have spoken up in his support. Do they want a promotion or a raise? Or do they actually condone this behavior? I really don't understand why. And neither does commentator Daniel Cormier. Cormier knows that White is wrong.
The UFC PR came over and they said, great job, things are gonna get crazy. I said, nothing's crazier than the fact that I just won this fight, even though I went to Kona.
And White knows that he's wrong, or he's told us that much, at least. Daniel said, "We have long been told our entire lives that we're not supposed to put our hands on women. What's more, White has said the same thing on the record. He said it multiple times that you should never put your hands on a woman. And then he went ahead and he did just that." Cormier said that Dana isn't trying to defend or justify his actions. He doesn't give any background.
When Rumble has that big burst and then he starts to kind of panic. And at the end of the day, he's a wrestler. So he went back to what he knows. Took me down twice, so obviously it was working.
Or explain his side of the story. And he's right about that. White may be evading questions about being reprimanded, but he has admitted to having done wrong. So Daniel doesn't get why some of these fighters are trying to jump in and defend him. Why would anyone do that when the man himself isn't even trying? Cormier is looking forward. He said that for him, what matters is what happens next. How does White really redeem himself? And will he ever be able to do that? How will the UFC stay true to its values with yet another domestic violence in the midst? Cormier said that there's no debate that he was wrong, and everyone should be on the same page about it. He said, "I know it's wrong, you know it's wrong, and everyone around the world knows it's wrong. But the reality is, what comes next?" Well, in Dana's own words, you don't bounce back from putting your hands on a woman. I was thinking, no, hoping, that the first course of action would be a separation between the couple. But Anna White released a statement to TMZ saying that nothing like this had ever happened before. She tried to put it on the alcohol that they'd had, adding that things got out of control on both sides. So, no, they're not separating. But does that change what happened? Not one bit. White said that you don't bounce back from something like this. And yet, he himself has allowed multiple fighters who've been accused and even convicted of domestic violence back into the octagon. After all, domestic violence isn't new to this sport. A study found that MMA fighters are more than double the average national rate of domestic violence arrests. And this is just the official data. Imagine what goes on behind the scenes. Dana could do a lot to redeem himself. He could try working with domestic violence nonprofits, but I'm not sure that they'd want to work with him. Can you blame them? Still, he could use this situation to change things at the UFC and introduce a more robust ethics code. But honestly, the only thing that makes sense for him is quitting, plain and simple. Like he said, no one can bounce back from this. That's all on Dana for now. We'll see you in the next video.
What's up, guys? I'm going live in 10 minutes on all social media platforms. Got some info for you. See you soon.